Hey Dosers, Tracie here from San Marcos Escondido campus. Thanks so much for joining us today. We're going to start unpacking a theme called Dream Killers. We're going to talk about the life of Joseph, but I want to talk for a second because I think about when I was a little girl, I used to dream about all things. Like I used to dream about what my house would look like. It was this big mansion, and I would dream about the man I would marry, and I would dream about how many kids I'd have, and you probably had dreams too. And then as I became a young woman in college, I would dream about how I would use my skill set and my education and my profession. And you know what's true? My life looks nothing like those dreams. My life looks nothing like what I dreamed of. I love my life, but it's nothing like what I had as a little girl on all those little pages making all those plans. And as we unpack Joseph, it's a very similar situation. He had a life that he did not expect. So if you're not familiar with this story, I'm going to give you just a really quick flyby, but I encourage you to go back to Genesis, and it's chapters 37 through 45. Read the story. It's intriguing because it looks like all of our lives that are all messy and broken. So when he was a young teenager, he ticked his brothers off by telling them about a dream that he had and that he was going to be over them someday. Well, it made him mad and they sold him. They actually just got rid of him. And what he did in slavery is he just walked out every day in obedience, what he was supposed to do, and he excelled. And then he excelled to the point of Potiphar said, hey, come to my house and I'm going to make you over all these things. And then temptation came and his wife was after him. She was relentless, but he stuck true to what he knew God had called him to do. And he walked that out, told her no over and over again. Well, she gets mad, lies about him, slanders him. He lands back in jail. He meets a guy in jail. He helps the guy out. The guy says, I'm going to remember you. And then it turns out the guy forgot him, betrayed him, basically. He's in there for a couple more years, and then Pharaoh calls him out to interpret a dream. He does the dream. Pharaoh gives him what and Joseph just walks out every single day what it is that God's called him to do. And in the little things, that's what I want to talk about today, is just Joseph shows us about what does it look like to just be faithful in the little things. And here's what I want us to hear too, is like, that was over a lot of years. He was in want and he was in pain, I'm sure, from the betrayal and the hurt and the lies and being enslaved because of truth. And so Joseph just shows us that no matter what season we're in, no matter where we are in life, if we are faithful to the little things, God is faithful to the rest. And even Jesus says in the parable of the talents, when he was here, he just said, hey, if you're faithful in the little, we'll give you charge over a lot. And then what I love so much about how the word operates, you know, we're talking about Joseph in Genesis, and he shows us all of this. It's just all laid out there. And then Jesus talks about being faithful. And now we just started this series in 1 John. And so more to the end of the Bible. And it's the same narrative. It's the same story that God is faithful and he wants his kids to walk in obedience, walk in the Spirit. And I love this so much. This weekend, these were some of our fill in the blanks. The path of spiritual growth is in forgiveness and adoption. Joseph walked that out. Getting in the Word until the Word is in us. He knew what God was calling him to, and he was faithful to it. Overcoming our sins or temptation, I would say. Joseph walked it out. Walking in the Word and Spirit and knowing God. So the narrative is the same. God is faithful even when our life doesn't look like what we thought it would look like. So I hope this encourages you. So whether you are in a season of want, you are in a season of plenty, or you are in a season of waiting, if you just are obedient to what God has called you to, walking in the Spirit, walking out every situation, every messy, broken relationship, when dreams are killed and you're not walking in what you hope, you be faithful. We will be faithful to what God has called us to, and he'll be faithful to the rest. We'll see you next time.